Hey there! This video is all about stenciling fabric. I'm going to show you two easy, tried and true methods for stenciling fabric that will give you crisp lines and a beautiful design. Let's jump right in. Hey, I'm Sarah. This is Creative Ramblings, where I share simple, inspiring videos every week. From simple crafts to DIY, home decor, you're gonna find it all right here. If that's your thing, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Today's video is all about stenciling fabric. Now, I've shared quite a bit about stenciling on this channel before. You can find all kinds of videos linked up above and down below on stenciling wood signs and all kinds of other items. Today we are focusing on fabric. I am sharing two methods for stenciling fabric, along with some tips for what type of fabric to use, the paints I recommend, and how to use that stenciling brush on your fabric. These two methods work for me on every stenciling project that I do. In one of the methods, you are going to be able to create your own stencil using your Silhouette or Cricut. In the other method, I'm going to recommend a stencil that you can go purchase ready-made, and it's going to give you beautiful lines. You ready to stencil some fabric? Let's go. For this project, we're starting with a tote bag. Now, when you're stenciling fabric, you want to try to choose a natural fabric, something cotton-based. It's going to hold your paint the best. I've recommended some paint down below, but choose a paint that is specifically made for fabric. You're going to get a beautiful, soft finish on this. Then you want to grab a stencil brush. This is kind of a flat-topped brush. It's really going to help your paint get into the fabric and look beautiful. Always be sure to protect your surfaces. In this case, we're going to put a piece of cardboard between the layers so that paint does not bleed. Our first stencil is made with freezer paper. By using freezer paper, you can get a DIY adhesive stencil that you create on your own. So I made a stencil in my Silhouette, and then I cut a piece of freezer paper and put it shiny side down on my mat. Now I'm going to cut it using a very shallow blade. I think this is about a 2. And I'm going to cut out the words, "Let's explore." Now, if you want to know how to turn any font into a stencil font, be sure to watch this video. It pulls off beautifully and makes one stencil. There's not going to be any little extra pieces left behind. This is one continuous stencil that we made. Now, to make freezer paper stick to your fabric, you're going to use an iron on low to medium heat and just run it over that freezer paper for a few seconds until you get a nice stick, a nice bond between the freezer paper and the fabric. Now, the key here is to using very little paint. You want to load up that brush with paint and then offload most of the paint. Come over to your stencil and just use an up and down motion with the paint on your stencil. You can always go back for more paint, but starting with less is going to give you a much better result. So I'm choosing to do a little bit of blue, green, and pink and just kind of make a rainbow effect where one color blends into the other using that up and down stippling technique with just a little bit of paint. Now, when we're all done with the color here, you can peel this stencil off while the paint is still wet. So to do that, just start pulling up gently on the freezer paper. There's no residue or anything like that left behind. It just leaves you these beautiful, crisp lines. Now, the second method is going to use a purchased stencil. I'm using these Martha Stewart stencils. We're going to grab this little pineapple right in the middle here. These are adhesive back stencils and they're reusable. So you just pull the stencil off the clear backing, and then you can position it where you want it on the fabric. Then we're going to come in with a stencil brush and paint and use that same technique, that up and down stippling motion. The adhesive back stencil is going to create a really nice bond between the stencil and the fabric, and just use a little bit of paint and you're going to get a beautiful finish using this technique as well. What I like about these stencils is you can peel it off, wipe off a little bit of the paint, and then just put it right back on that clear backing, and you can reuse this stencil. Now the final step is to heat set our paint. Let it dry completely, cover it with a thin towel, and run an iron over the top. Every paint is going to have some directions on the back that tell you exactly how to do that. All right, so we just made this gorgeous, pretty easy canvas tote bag using 2 fabric stenciling methods. You've got freezer paper, and then you have an adhesive stencil. So let me know down below in the comments, which one do you think you would prefer? Are you the kind of person who would go out there and create your own stencil using your silhouette or your Cricut? Or would you prefer to go buy a pre-made adhesive stencil and make your products that way? Let me know down below. If you do want to create your own stencils using freezer paper, specifically if you want to learn how to turn any font into a stencil font, take a look at this video up above. I am going to show you exactly how to do that. So if you like this video, if you learned something today, give me a thumbs up and be sure you're subscribed to Creative Ramblings so you don't miss another simple, inspiring video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody. Want more simple, inspiring projects? Be sure to follow Creative Ramblings over on Instagram. I've got behind the scenes stories and sneak peeks of my projects up every day.